Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to the drive-through for a special. We are finally going to get to number 54 edition, brought to you by the deli. Hungry? Stop by the deli and get yourself some chicken wraps. Bwop, bwop. Chicken wraps. All right. This is going to take forever, so let's cut it with the stupid jokes. From the front of your book, we know, first of all, this is a frustrum. It's like what you stand on after you win a wrestling event. Okay? And the volume of this, so we got a little r, we got a big R, and then we have our height. The volume of this, if you can't beat them, frustrum, is pi. You know what? I'm going to expand on this. I prefer to write it like this. Pi r squared h over 3 plus pi r h over 3 plus pi r squared h over 3. Okay? Let's just start with the volume, and then we'll move on to surface area later on in the video. Here's what we're going to need. We're going to need dV, dr. We're going to need dV, dr, and we're going to need dV, dh. We're also going to need dr dt, dr dt, and dh dt. And then we're going to put those into the chain rule while we are done. Okay? So, dv d little r would be 2 pi rh over 3 plus, this one's gone, so plus pi r big RH over 3. Okay? dV d big R is very similar. It's pi RH over 3 plus 2 pi big RH over 3. Let me just draw a little curtain there. And dV dH, there's going to be 3 of them. So pi r squared over 3 plus pi r over 3 plus pi r squared over 3. So hopefully you guys can understand how I got those mixed partials, or those partials, from this. dr dt I've got to extract from the given information. That is 4. dr dt is 4. dh dt is 12. We want dv dt, which is dv dr times, well, let me just write this out and then give you the answer. dv dr times dr dt plus dv dr times dr dt plus dv dh times dh dt. Okay, so look, we've got all this stuff. At the point, we know that the radii are 15, and so r is 15, r is 25, and h is 10. I'm going to put those in right here, right here, right here, right here, all those little variables. And we're just going to come up with a number. I'm going to pause the video and do some math. Okay, so I ended up just factoring out a pi over 3 and plugging in all my R, H, RH, R, all that stuff, and you get pi over 3 times 19,500. Or we know that this thing is changing at a rate of about 6,500 pi cubic centimeters per minute. Okay? All right. So now let's clear. We'll come back to some of that given information. The surface area is pi r squared plus pi r squared plus the lateral area, which in the front of your book is listed as pi times r plus r times the square root of r minus r squared plus h squared. Okay? So, let's rewrite that. Surface area. It's pi times r squared plus r squared plus r times r minus r squared plus h squared to the 1/2. Okay? So now we need ds dr ds dr and ds dh. Okay, all right, here goes nothing. Okay, now we got to do chain rule. First times the derivative of the second oh god, this is going to be so terrible. 1/2 times what we got to the negative 1/2 times the derivative of what's inside which is 2r minus 2r times 1. Not even done with this one yet. Okay, let's see. This was first times the derivative of the second plus second times the derivative of the first. Second times the derivative of the first. Well, the derivative of the first with respect to capital R is just 1, so we are simply going to add an r minus r squared plus h squared to the 1/2. And that is our wonderful, and remember all of this is being multiplied by pi, and that I believe is our wonderful partial derivative with respect to r. Okay. ds dr. Okay, here we go. So it's going to be 0 plus 2 pi r plus, here we go again. Okay, first of all, I can't forget about the pi out here. Okay, so here we go. First times the derivative of the second, r plus r times 1/2 times, let's see, first times derivative of the second, r minus r squared plus h squared to the negative 1/2 times the derivative of what's inside, which is 2r minus 2r times negative 1 first times the derivative of the second plus second times the derivative of the first. Once again, the derivative of the first will be 1, so it's just plus the same thing from above. There's no way I have the right amount of parentheses. Okay, thanks for asking this question, Josh. dsdh. Okay, well, at least it's 0 plus 0. I guess it's my own fault for assigning it. Note to self. Well, I guess as long as I get this video right, I can keep assigning it. That's the nice thing about my role. Here we go. We are taking the derivative of this with respect to h. So it's first times the derivative of the second plus second times the derivative of the first. The derivative of the first will be 0, so it's just first times the derivative of the second. R plus R, first, times the derivative of the second is 1/2 times r minus r squared plus h squared to the negative 1/2 times the derivative of what's inside, which is actually much easier. It's just 2h plus second times the derivative of the first is 0. So there are our partials. We know what ds dr, ds d little r, and ds dh are from, or sorry, dr dt, dr dt, and dh dt are from the previous page. So let me pause this and do some math. Okay, you don't even want to know how long I've been gone, but it's sufficient to say that I've probably gained 7 pounds in that time. The answer to all of this is 640 radical 2 pi centimeters squared per minute. Boom!